Hi, Jen. It's so good to have you in here today. My name is Dr. Collins, but you can call me Jasmine. So before we get started today, I want to just talk to you a little bit about what chiropractic is truly about. I want to make sure that when I communicate to you about all of the stuff that's going on with your body right now, that you fully understand what we're getting at, and I want to let you know how this office is different from all the rest out there. So first, I'm going to talk about development. All the way back when you were developing in your mom's uterus. The first thing that develops is actually your brain. And your brain sits right here. This is the base of your skull, right back here. Your brain sits here. Your brain stem runs down through this hole right here, the base of your skull, and runs down through the spinal column as the spinal cord. Now, in order for all these nerves to innervate your entire body, they're going to have to exit through the vertebra. Right here, you can see all these little fibers coming out. These are your spinal nerves. And these are going to be coming out from the spinal cord, and they're going to be wrapping around and innervating every structure in your body and giving all of those structures their functionality. So up down here in the lumbar area of the spine, all of these nerves are going to be innervating your colon and the lower part of your digestive tract. So all of these ones here in your thoracic region are going to be innervating things like your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, things like that. And then in your cervical region, all of the spinal nerves here are going to be innervating things like your smell, your nose, your eyes. Some of the nerves in your arm are going to be coming from the cervical region, your thyroid gland, things like that. So when you become out of alignment, in chiropractic medicine, that's what we would call a subluxation. So these things can occur in multiple different ways. So we've got physical trauma, we've got chemical traumas, we've got emotional traumas. Physical traumas could be anything. They could be the big impacts that are made when you get into a car accident, or they could be more minor things that you're doing on a daily basis, such as staring at a computer screen, sitting at a desk, looking down at your phone, reading a book. Everything like that, all those micro traumas that we're doing on a daily basis over and over again are going to be contributing to what's going on in your spine. Chemical traumas, these can happen through different types of medications. It can happen to people who are addicted to certain substances, and that's definitely going to affect your functionality in your nervous system. And then we've also got some emotional traumas as well. This could be a high-stress environment while you're at work. It could be the fact that a family member just passed away. Anything super emotional like that is going to be contributing to what's going on in your nervous system. Because the nervous system acts like a recorder. Everything that happens in your life, your nervous system is recording that. So when we get these traumas, whether it's physical, emotional, chemical, your nervous system is recording that. And sometimes we get in this sympathetic state, in this fight or flight mode, and we can't get out of it. And so at that point, our spines become subluxated. And when I say subluxated, I mean just out of alignment, when these bones move and pinch these spinal nerves. So every time you get subluxated, you're going to be pinching these nerves, and it's going to cause some pathologies, some inflammation, and that's where you're going to get all of those symptoms, the digestive issues, the organ malfunction, the breathing issues, asthma, thyroid malfunction, headaches, things like that, pain with walking, standing, anything like that. It's all coming from your spine, from your nervous system. Okay, so what we're doing here in this office is we're going to be conducting a couple different examinations. We're going to get to know your issue very, very specifically, and we're going to treat that issue specifically. So we don't do anything generalized. Everything is a case-by-case basis. Okay, so we treat your case with a lot of specificity, so we really get to the root of the issue. And so my goal is you're in this sympathetic state, and you're in that fight or flight mode, and we need to get you out of that fight or flight mode. So my job is to remove this subluxation, remove the interference, so that all of these nerves can be functioning at their optimal level, so that you can experience an optimal level of health. Okay, so health is not necessarily how you're feeling. It's how you're functioning. Pain is actually a normal process that we should experience. It tells us when we should stop doing certain things. And so when you come in this office, it's more about how you're functioning. How are your organs functioning? How are you digesting things? How are your headaches? Things like that. Not necessarily, I'm feeling pain here or there, Jen, is that we have a healthcare class that we offer weekly every Tuesday and Thursday evening after our appointments. And so this healthcare class is to better inform the patients about what's really going on. It goes into more depth than what I went into at the beginning of the appointment, talking about the different development and the nerves and subluxation. It just helps the patients really understand what we're getting at, what our goals are, and whatnot, things like that. And so that healthcare class, we have that twice a week, so super flexible, whatever you can get to work into your schedule. But it is one of the requirements that we have here. I just want to make sure that what I'm communicating to you, that you're fully understanding, so that there's no miscommunication between the doctor and the patient. So I know the CAs had you fill out some information, some paperwork already, so I can see you are experiencing some neck and some low back pain. I see you get headaches pretty frequently, about twice a week. That's quite a bit. I can imagine how that would impact your daily life and your daily functionality. I also see here you have listed some digestive issues. You're not super regular with your bowel movements. So that's definitely an issue. The whole point of the intestinal tract is to get rid of the things you don't need anymore, and when we can't do that, we're just building up some toxins, and it's just not good for our body. So I definitely want to help you out with that as well. So in order to really understand your issue specifically, I'm going to have to do a couple of different examinations. We're going to start with a physical examination, then we're going to do a chiropractic examination, and then we're going to end with an x-ray. So I really want to see what's going on in your body so that we know the real issue, right? So all together, for today's visit and our next visit, where I explain to you all the things that I found, it's going to be about $200. So we take cash, card, or check at this office, and there's a couple of different payment options. You can either pay everything up front, or you can pay as you go. If you pay up front, you save 10%. So that's just up to you. So you can take some time and think about that, and before you leave today, just handle that with the CA before you walk out. Also, I would love to have you back in tomorrow if that's at all possible. That way I have a day to look at all of the results and come up with a care plan that tends to your needs. So yeah, if you could schedule that appointment with the CA as well before you leave today, that would be fantastic. So at this point, it's up to you. As long as you are ready to get back to functioning at its, at your optimal level and living life to its full potential, I would love to help you get there. So as long as you're ready, we can get started. At this point, the patient would hopefully say yes, they want to continue with care, and we would get started. So we would do all the exams, we would take the x-rays, we would wait a day, I would go over everything and come up with a report of findings, and I would see my patient the next day, if that's at all possible. So, hi Jen, good to have you back here today. So I've had a day to look over everything that we found yesterday, and I have a care plan all set up and ready to go over with you. So, you definitely have some pinched nerves. I definitely think that you are a good candidate for chiropractic care. I think we can help you with all the issues you're experiencing. So, I did find some nerve compression and some subluxations going on in your cervical and your lumbar region, which makes sense. You have been experiencing these headaches, these digestive issues. So all the nerves that are innervating your head and your lower digestive tracts, they're pinched, they're inflamed, and they're not functioning at their optimal level. So we've got the pinched nerves in the cervical and the lumbar region. I also noticed you have some muscle spasms going up and down on your right side of your back. And I know you said that those give you some pain. I think that's more of a secondary issue. I definitely think the primary issue is in your neck and your lower back. So we're going to treat that as well, but it's probably not going to be a direct treatment. It's going to be something that you notice goes away as we correct the cervical and the lumbar region. Okay, so at this point, I also noticed you have some significantly decreased ranges of motion in your rotation of your lower back. flexion and extension. I also noticed the same thing for your cervical spine, especially all on the right side. The right side of your body seems to be extremely hypertonic. So our goal is to remove those interferences so we can get that inflammation out of there, get all the toxic crap that's built up over the last couple of years, and get you back to functioning optimally. So I know yesterday the CA had you watch a quick video about subluxation degeneration. So based off of that video that you watched yesterday, I've got this chart here in your file. You can take this pencil and you can circle which phases you think your cervical and lumbar spine are in right now. At this point, the patient would circle whichever phase they thought they were in, and I would say, wow, that's a really good idea of what's going on here. So in your cervical spine, you said you might be in phase 2, and you're actually in phase 3. So at this point, we've got some nerve compression, we've got some tissue degeneration, which means we have a little bit of bone deposition, a little bit of fusion happening. Okay, so but luckily, you know, we've caught this at a pretty early stage, so I really think that we can fix this issue. Okay, and then moving on to your lumbar spine, you were spot on. You chose phase 2, and that's exactly right. So you've got some of that nerve compression and that nerve interference, but we don't have any degeneration yet, so that's great. So I definitely think that we can still correct all these issues that you're experiencing. So at this point, with your specific case, I think in order to correct this as quickly as possible, I would like to see you twice a week for the next 12 weeks. Okay, so yeah, at the end of those 12 weeks, we're going to do something very similar to what we've already done over the last 2 days. We're going to collect some more data at the end of these 12 weeks, and we're going to reassess and see what your progress is. Because I want you to know, I want you to see what I'm seeing. I want you to see the progress that I see in your body, because I know sometimes with chiropractic medicine, our patients don't always see it and they get a little bit discouraged. And the reason for that is it's taken you years and years and years to get to this point that your body is in right now, to get to this degree of subluxation. And so it's going to take some time to get your body back out of this sympathetic state. Okay, so in 12 weeks, that's why we do it every 12 weeks. We're going to do all of these reassessments so that we can sit down and go over how has the nerve compression improved? How have your symptoms improved? All that stuff so that you can actually see what I'm seeing as well. Okay. Also, something that I would introduce, not visit 2, I think it's more visit 5 in that area. I would ask the patient, I would provide them with a piece of paper that would have a couple of different things to fill out on it for potential patients that they know, some of their friends, some of their family, writing down some of their issues and how we can get a hold of them. So I would introduce that to them, tell them, you know, we're going to be looking for maybe some referrals that they can come up with, get their brains thinking about that, and then send them away with that paperwork so they can go home and fill that out, and I would ask them to bring that back to me the next time they came in. So now we would be at visit 10. Oh, excuse me. And this would be the progressive report of findings. Okay, so hi Jen, it's so nice to have you back in here today. It's been really great having you as a patient. And so today, after yesterday, we collected some more data, we did some of the examinations again, took some more x-rays, and today I want to sit down with you and talk to you about the progress that you've made. So the first time you came in, you explained to me that you had been experiencing headaches about two, maybe 3 times a week, and that was really impacting your functionality on a daily basis. It just knocked you down and out for the count. Couldn't go to work, couldn't play with the kids, just really affected your everyday life. Also, you came in saying that you were experiencing some digestive issues and some low back pain. So today, though, you have shared with me that you no longer are experiencing these headaches. You haven't had to take off work for these headaches. You're able to interact with your kids the way you used to be able to. You're also experiencing significantly less digestive issues. So that is truly amazing, Jen. I'm so glad that we've been able to help you with these issues. It really sounds like you're getting back to your optimal level of functionality. So based off of the first time you came in here, you had some fixations in your neck and your lumbar area, and you had some pain radiating down the right side of your body. Your muscles were extremely hypertonic on the right side. down the entire length of the spine. And today, we definitely still have a couple fixations going on, but there's no pain going down the right side of your body. Your muscles are a lot more relaxed than they were starting off with. So like I said, we still have some fixations, still have a little bit of improvement to be made here, but overall doing really, really well. I also noticed in all areas of the spine, particularly your neck and your lumbar region, you came in with significantly reduced range of motion. But today, these have been restored at least 50% based off of these numbers we've got wrote down here. So also, the inflammation I noticed and the heat that was coming off of different areas of your spine, that seems to have almost completely dissipated since our first visit. So this is truly amazing. I think we're making some really fantastic progress here, Jen. So at this point, the first stage of care was intensive care. We wanted to correct these subluxations as fast as possible. And now I think that we are ready to move on to the next level of care. And so that is going to be what I would call reconstructive care. And eventually we want to move on to a wellness care plan where I'm seeing you on a regular basis, but we're not having too many major issues that we're trying to correct. So at this point, it just depends on what your wellness goals are. If you are coming in and you just wanted to relieve your symptoms, then maybe you don't want to continue on with care today. If you came in and you wanted to live a more holistic lifestyle and really get to the root of these issues and do more than get rid of the symptomatology, but also improve your body functionality as a whole, maybe you want to continue with care. So that's completely up to you, Jen. If you do choose to continue care, I think I'd like to see you here about once a week still. And then eventually we're going to progress into that wellness care plan if that's what you choose to do. So at this point, I would really hope that my patient would say, yes, they'd like to continue with care. Also, at this point, I'm hoping that they would give me some of their referrals that I can tap into and get some emails sent out to their friends and family. And so at that point, that would be the ending of my first round of visits with this patient, visits 1, 2, and 10. So you can see all my paperwork is in this binder right here. I've got my report of findings, my progressive report of findings, all that good stuff, all the paperwork right here. And then also I've got my healthcare class paperwork right here. I've got a couple of my 3 to 5 minute lectures worked out. Like Dr. Riekman said, every quarter I'd like to sit down and do a couple of these. That way I am fully prepared when I graduate to go out into practice and start this healthcare class so that I can share the information and won't have to think about it too much. I already have a lot of my lectures figured out. So there's all of that. Additionally, I have my research article binder right here. So unfortunately my printer has been malfunctioning lately and I just haven't been able to go print everything out on campus yet. So I've got a bunch of stuff saved on my laptop on some bookmark tabs here. I've got just about every topic covered in the binder that we were initially supposed to have covered. I have some, where do we start? A lot of vaccine stuff. I've got a couple different articles talking about what's going into a vaccine and a couple articles saying what all those ingredients are actually doing in our bodies and how we're functioning with those. I've also got a couple articles that actually looked at the pain that patients were experiencing and how chiropractic care improved that. So we saw some really great significant improvements with upper cervical pain, and I'm pretty sure some lower back pain in the one article as well. I've got some functional neurology articles. I also have, and what I think is probably one of the best research articles to have, or one of the best researchers to have in my research binder would be Heidi Horvick. I went to Rubicon conference and I've heard her talk a couple of different times. She's truly amazing. She's doing some really wonderful progressive research in the chiropractic industry right now. She's proving the science behind chiropractic. She's actually able to show what we're doing when we're removing the subluxation. And she's proving that it's more than just hard bone on soft nerve. So that's really amazing, and I think having those research articles there for my patients to flip through and see in my office is going to be extremely vital to how they believe in chiropractic and how they perceive it. So I've got a couple of these articles, and I'm definitely planning every quarter. I want to get into a system once a week where I am going online and looking up one more article to put in my binder every week. I just think it's so important to continue with my education even while I'm going to school right now. It's a never-ending process, and that's what I love about it. So I think at this point I've covered everything I need to cover, so thank you.